Honourable Minister mentioned that we don't have to fret about the savings law clause. There's an angle that the savings law clause could be completely undermined, and that is via the CCJ. The president of the CCJ said last year that the CCJ is an executing agency for donor funds and named Canada and UN Women as those international persons that contribute to the CCJ, and so there's a significant concern about the independence of the CCJ related to certain internationally held ideologies, and so the concern continues that they ruled in a Guyana case related to cross-dressing, that cross-dressing should be legal in Guyana, and the reasoning was that the savings law clause was pre-independence and so did not really hold into consideration, and so there are significant concerns related to judicial activism and the CCJ. What exactly is the process that we will undergo as a country related to the selection of the final court? I understand that you're saying that it's not referendum, so what exactly will take place in that regard, seeing that there are these concerns?
Anybody wants to answer? I'm trying to appreciate the point you've made and tell me if my understanding of it is correct. That based on what you have read out loud, you are concerned that the CCJ may not be an independent arbiter? Is that?
Well, in the words of the president of the CCJ, that they are an executing agency for donor funds.
And the court itself is an executing agency for donor funds?
That is what he said.
Are you sure that's what
he said?
Yeah,
man, that is a quote of him. I have the video and everything. I could send it to you.
I can see how that would be of concern, because the court is not to be involved in the legal struggle at all. The judicial branch is to stand separate and apart. And any indication of any vesting in the legal struggle will raise questions about whether the institution is compromised, generally speaking. The savings clause have been pronounced on in another case that looked on lines of cases adjudicated on by the CCJ and lines of cases adjudicated by the Privy Council. It's a case of Chandler, I think number 2. It was handed down in the summer of last year. I invite your attention to it, and you will see, in essence, it recognizes that if your constitution provides for something, it can't be unconstitutional, even if you may say it seems anomalous. The work to change all of our laws will require focused attention. The fact that something may have arisen in a bad context doesn't automatically mean that it is bad. I think we know many examples that something can come out of a bad context, but it really has a lot of good and a lot of worth. It is for us to decide on that for ourselves. And I think among that is some of the laws that the savings clause is meant to protect. We will have to reason that out, because I know the issues that arise on the matters that fall in the ordinarily entrenched provisions of the Constitution touch people in real ways. The rights, the responsibility issues, even the courts. So we will have full-blown conversations. It is truly because there is no consensus at this time, and what you have raised is a concern in many other places. It may not have been raised like that, but bear in mind that the CCJ has good, high-quality judgments, and the court is enjoying a certain reputation while it still struggles to inspire confidence in the people of the region. So I wouldn't want you to go away thinking that it's all bad because something has been said, but we have to probe and we have to find out and get to the bottom of the matter.
I looked up the Google reference to which you spoke. I can say as a matter of certain legal knowledge that the only funding for the Caribbean Court of Justice is a trust fund that was set up when the court was being established, and that the only donors, the only persons that, the only institutions, the only governments that contribute to that fund are the governments of the CARICOM region, and that Jamaica is the largest donor to the funds that provide for all of the facilities of the CCJ. The trust fund is constituted by accountants and other persons from the Caribbean. The CCJ does not receive any funds from any external government. We are contributing the largest sum, we Jamaica, of all of the Caribbean countries, and I think it's a misunderstanding to characterize the words that were used as indicating any external funding. It is simply not so.
Thirdly, the international community has identified the CCJ as an appropriate executing agency for donor funds designed for justice improvement throughout the region. And so, for example, over the last 8 years, the court has been the executing agency for the Canadian-funded Judicial Reform and Institutional Strengthening Project, JURIST. That project has engaged in several initiatives, including the establishment of a sexual offences model court in Antigua and Barbuda, the development of model guidelines for gender-sensitive adjudication in collaboration with CAJU and UN Women, and the establishment of the soon-to-be-launched Caribbean Judicial Information System, CJIS.